Folks, welcome back. Here we are in BRL once again. Today we're heading to the Suzuka International Circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix. What number is it again, Sarthak? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that. But folks, you can approximate it somewhere in the ballpark of right below 20. We're closing in though. We're closing in on the 20th race of the season.
And it's the final stretch.
Yeah, it's the final stretch. And we've seen good outings in Suzuka before. We've seen spectacular drives back in Season 3 from the likes of Sri Watson, Big Man Joe, who came back after a long break in the season. He ended up winning the championship. He actually ended up on the top step of the podium. So yeah, definitely that is, we can expect great things out on track, even though there's just 10 drivers.
Only 10 for now. I hope more joins because Suzuka is a nice place to race, and looks like we have some sunny weather today, which will make for some great race and overtaking in Suzuka. It is one of the most technical circuits and high-speed technical circuits. As you can see, this the S's in Sector 1, and then if you nail Sector 2 and 3, you can just follow someone for days and make a move wherever you like. Maybe we'll see some around the outsides in 130R. Right, and we have few drivers going out. The first one is Mr. Wax to leave the pit, so there we go.
Oh, apologies, Davin, just attending to some last minute stuff. But yeah, hopefully we get to see battles out on track. Unfortunate to see 10 drivers only. But as you mentioned, Mr. Wax out on track, Baby Shume, Sikne, Ganabi, Ferrello.
And speaking of RB Ferrello, well, he was leading the championship in the last race before the start. He had a DNF and we had a win, which means I'm pretty sure Envy has the championship lead now right? But things are not over yet. Oh, as we say that, Mr. Wax, he on his out lap has big spin at Spoon. Careful, sir, it's still green conditions out there. You don't want to be messing up your laps already. It should be a slow build up to your confidence. Let's take it slowly, Wax. And 7 drivers out on track already, make that 8 now. And just Envy and Gauts in the pits, waiting for their time. And as I say that, Gauts is also out, so only Envy waiting for his time in the pits.
Yeah, we see someone running off into the grass for a brief moment. Pretty sure just steering clear a bit too much of one of their competitors who are coming through. But yeah, just 15.5 minutes left and we are on board. Envy, who's coming out of the pits right now.
Yeah, and running on board with Mr. Vex here. First to set a lap. Well, let's go through this magnificent Suzuka circuit. Sector 1, the SS. Left, right, and then left and right again. It's just relentless. Stresses the fronts and the rears as well. But if you nail this sector, you get again a lot of time. And coming towards the end of Sector 1, what is his split time going to be? A pretty decent 33.6 for a banker. And then Dagno 1 comes up very quickly. Dagno 2 as well. And then coming up next is the hairpin. A lot of different lines you can take through here. And he decides to take somewhat of a middle-ish line, gets a good exit onto the long straight before Spoon. Another potential opportunity to overtake here in the race. And Spoon 50 meters, throw the car in left, right the curb, and then throw the car in again another left, and then power down all the way to 130R. The longer straight as well here, but no DRS, so drivers will have to make up the position all on skill. 130R comes, flick the car in very quickly, run wide or run close, whichever you like. 100-meter board, aim for the curbs on the inside, the left and the right, done well, and then power down once again. Does not take the closest line, but takes somewhat of a middle line to the finish line. 32.8 is his first. Pretty decent time.
Yeah, I think it's still early, minutes of the qualifying session, and unfortunate to see Streeter already having retired from the session. With 12 drivers out on track, you want to complete the session and put in a solid lap time. I wonder what happened there, Streeter.
Oh, speak of solid, Andre sets a 30.2 on the mediums. Whoa! Baby Shimmy, the next closest 130.8 on the softs. That's some crazy pace there by Andre on his return to the McLaren today. Guts must be happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will be. Hopefully, he finds himself real close to Andre himself. He's on a fast lap of his own as he comes close to the entrance to Sector 3, the 130R section of the track. We might just see him put in a lap time for worthy enough for the top 5, perhaps.
Yes, still early times, but setting a benchmark on the mediums, definitely it's a good time there. And running on board UK here.
So
comes across
the
wow,
final corner.
29.5.
He goes third fastest though, Gouts.
Yeah.
So we were right. UK did go fastest on the sauce, but Gouts, he's right there, right alongside Andre, clearly as he shows. So to think what these two can do if they do end up qualifying on the softs, or even on the mediums, they're not looking too shabby.
Oh well, I tell you what, the mediums are the best race tires on the start here, and if they can get themselves into that position, they'll be cheering themselves on in the race. Softs are not bad though, but they kind of overheat at the start, so drivers may be looking to avoid those tires. So let's see if some drivers have managed to overcome the overheating issues with some setup adjustments, or are they just gonna risk it on the mediums and play safe? Let's see.
Yeah, Davin, I stayed on board with Gouts, and I'm looking at Andre's time as well. Andre has actually gone slower in Sector 1, but Gouts in both Sector 1 and Sector 2, he has ended up going quicker.
Oh wow, okay, that's interesting. Surely some different lines been taken there by the drivers and possibly helping them with their times.
Yeah, possibly. But right now, UK fastest right now. Oh, it's Sector 2 at the exit. He loses 2 tenths actually, Gouts. So probably not the best of lap times. Will he beat Andre? No, it seemed like he went into the bollard there. But across the final corner and across the line, how good of a lap time is it?
Ooh,
is he gonna
only
improve?
4 thousandths down on his best. His tires are holding up.
Yep. But let's not forget, we've still got some competent drivers out on track who haven't set a lap time. KDB, Big Man Joe.
Indeed, and a few more drivers coming around the corner. Mr. Wax, he's actually into the pits as well. And we have a Ferrari who is about to start his lap time. That is Envy, or rather to finish his lap time. And there you go, 29.0 straight away on the board by Envy on the mediums.
Yeah, on the mediums. UK might just be evaluating everything, considering he's the only driver in the top 6 on the softs.
Andre improved his time there by another half a tenth almost. Sets at 29.8. And still keeps him in P3, but a little clearer up in front.
Yeah. Meanwhile, KDB is on a fast lap of his own. He's not, I believe it is his first lap time on the board, which we will be seeing. I say he might just come in too slow. Yeah.
Gambler comes across the line, and Gambler goes P9 for now. Looks like a slow recon kind of lap, maybe just to get a banker for a soft run later. I'm guessing that.
Perhaps. 1 minute 44, so definitely. Big Man Joe still in the pits. I believe he did come out for a brief moment, or did he not?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's finally coming out.
Oh, okay. There he is, coming out of the track. Coming out on track, and we'll see him on his out lap soon enough. Is Envy on another fast lap, or perhaps Andre? I believe RB Ferrello might just be on. No, he's on a slow down lap. He's heading back into the pits.
No, Envy is invalidated his lap, so it's probably his in lap or getting ready for another one. Let's just quickly see if he's gonna start another one. And now he heads into the pits. I mean, after setting a lap time like that, I'm pretty sure you want to be saving those tires, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Mr. Wex is on an out lap, much similar to that of Big Man Joe, and so is Baby Shumi. So we can expect 3 new lap times, hopefully, on the board soon enough. Baby Shumi has started his fast lap as we speak, I presume. Mr. Wex is on his way there as well, and so is Big Man Joe.
Yep, and KDB as well, make that 4. So he's coming around 130R right now. Some yellow flags being waved in Sector 1, presumably for some cars getting ready for the hot laps. KDB into the last sector, last chicane. What can he do?
The first lap time on the board. Familiar territory as he collided with General Pepe on that part of the track in Season 4. He goes 4th fastest out on track.
Yep. Not the fastest just yet, but he's getting up there. And let's see, there's another lap time coming, as you said. Mr. Wax, so he's gonna start his lap, so but let's go back to Baby Shumi, who is right at the hairpin in Sector 2, and halfway through his lap. So running down to Spoon, and Baby Shumi once again is out on the medium, so I'm surprised that he's going to go for the same runs. I'm not sure if he has done a run on the mediums before, but this would be just adding on some tire wear unnecessarily. Either way, heading down into 130R, Sector 2 ends just before that, and the split time is half a second down. That's not looking good.
Yeah, he was slower in Sector 2, as you mentioned. Yeah, Sector 3, I don't see him improving either. At best, he's going to stay 6th fastest. And by the looks of it, he's actually gone slower, so no change in time there for him. He is on the mediums as well. So you see a bunch of these drivers switching to the softs, top 6, as I mentioned earlier on. Baby Shumi continues on a fast lap of his own. Let's quickly switch back to possibly Big Man Joe, because Vex seems to have abandoned his lap and headed into the pits.
Yeah, and maybe just feeling the conditions on those tires before going for a fast one. Big Man Joe, as you said, coming out of Spoon, powers down, takes a pretty chill line, I'd like to say, not the fastest line, but the line of least resistance, as they call it in real life. Through 130R, car seems to be planted as always on this high downforce class. 100-meter pod, just send it into the chicane, right, and then a left. Pretty much, clean lap here. Surely more to be found, and for now, that's just gonna be enough for P5.
Okay. Top 5, puts himself in the top 5 though. Mind you, the rest of the laps around him significantly quicker in some cases with the likes of Andre, but on the mediums. So Andre right now coming out on his out lap along with his teammate Gouts for the day, both on the softs. So how much of a jump they can make out on track today with 6 minutes left to short qualifying?
It's probably a second of delta time there, so they are hoping to be right on pace there with Envy, who has set the provisional time on mediums earlier. And let's see quickly, Signic, who's coming across the final corner here, across the line, sets 29.7. That puts him P3, lines up in second row for now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat, even though there's just 11 drivers now, considering Streeter has retired. You see a bunch of these guys coming out on the outlaps, significantly the McLaren teammates, like I mentioned. I really want to see what kind of lap times they do. Andre, I believe he has started his quick lap.
Yep, here it is. Into the sector 1, into the SS. Let's see, it's right on board really quietly and observe his lap. Ooh, as I say, that takes a lot of curve, takes a lot of risk there, but gains in time.
Would I be dumb to say it seemed like he had a slow sector 1?
Well, he's up by 2/10, which is considerably okay.
Maybe it could have been quicker.
Yeah, but sector 2 entry is where you can make up a lot of time on the soft, so let's see if he has a much better time here. It could be just a case where a driver is having a setup that is more balanced on the mediums, so he might be finding it easier later on in the race.
Perhaps. God seems to have lost 1,000ths of a second, or I believe 100ths of a second in sector 1.
Andre has abandoned his lap, had a poor run through Spoon, so that's his lap over.
Perhaps Gouts can give us a stellar lap time. He's going through sector 2 as we speak. That lap time from Envy is still the one to beat, and he's out on his mediums now. Oh no, he set that lap on the medium, so he's probably out on the softs. On the same part of the track where Andre abandoned his lap time, Gouts now
up by
4/10 up.
Wow, yep, almost 5. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, almost 5/10. Yeah.
Probably can find 3 more here. Last chicane,
might.
sends it on the curbs. Wow, really committed over there on the curbs. Takes it very, very riskily. Across the line, 6/10 up.
Yeah,
Only
goes quicker than his teammates.
7,000 behind Signic, and that gives him the second row for now.
Go for now. And I'm just wondering what's going on in the heads of KDB and Big Manjo there in the pit sitting. Oh, Mr. Wex goes third fastest.
I thought he was going to
Wex.
start his lap, but there we go. He has set a time, and that takes away P3, and UK takes P2. Wow.
Yep. But
We didn't realize that.
mind you, there's still a bit of time left in shock qualifying, and purple sector 1 for Andre, as he's on a fast lap of his own. He'll be looking to beat his teammate and go higher up in the order on the softs, given that his lap time on the mediums gave him 6th fastest right now on the board.
Much
Still
better
nowhere
run
close to
to
envy, though.
spoon this time for Andre, and heading into the second sector split is up only about a tenth and a half, so not much of an improvement that is looking, but nevertheless it's going to be a good one if he manages to get his lap done, possibly jumping his teammate.
And across the final corner and the line, second
Whoa.
fastest for the man on the softs.
Wow, that's a really quick lap, but mind you, he has done two flying laps on this, one abandoned and one full lap, so I wonder if Taiwan is gonna be coming back to kick him at the end of his first stint, and with with the likes of Envy still up ahead on pole on mediums, it's gonna be a tough one for Andre. He has to make the moves early on. UK as well.
Yeah, I think in the Bwoah Racing League, I don't think we've seen Andre on the top 2 rows too often. And I think Suzuka is playing out in his favor, at least in qualifying it seems that way. Gouts as well perhaps, but he's down in 6th right now. They got 2 minutes or so to send even more banger lap times, which I don't see
Ferlo now.
doing.
1.6
Okay.
seconds up across the last sector almost, and just messes up the final chicane. So what can you do? Cross the line.
No,
Just P10.
no change.
Just P10.
Yeah, he stays 10th fastest. But it's Abi Ferrero. I mean, if anything, the race is where he's gonna turn up. And I think it was the race 0.
Baby Shumi, something's happened there.
A spin. No, Abi Ferrero gets sent into a spin as well on the other side of the track. If you miss that, UK near miss, but regardless, he'll.
Yeah, it looks like Baby Shumi might have spun at the start of at the SS, and that sent him the wrong way. And RB Fellow now, something's happened to him, and he's disqualified.
Yeah, like I said, Abi Ferrero, he was sent into a spin. He sent it onto the grass a bit too much. I was on board, and yeah, unfortunate for him. He's disqualified. So he's, like I mentioned, Dalvin, he's starting P12. Probably somewhere he wants to start in, considering we've known him for last to first, last to podium. That's his forte. We might just see that unravel here today as well.
Yep, and I think he wouldn't be too bummed by getting 2 places dropped there from P10 to P12. As long as he puts on his usual show, I'm happy with that. I was riding on board the UK, who was on a very quick lap in Sector 1, but messed it up coming out of the hairpin in Sector 2. So he has abandoned his lap. His session is over. P3 is the best he would do for now. Envy has not gone out. He's out there. He's setting a time, but I think he's just evaluating the time on the softs here just to see how good they are. But I think it's just an unnecessary run here by Envy. Just a glory run. And who else on a lap time? Signic now comes across the line and doesn't improve. So that's him done. KDB across the final sector, final chicane. Mounts the curbs very, very aggressively. And then across the finish line, DRS wide open for a short burst. Improves by 0.8 of a second to put himself alongside Envy. And he goes P2 for now.
Yeah, and Davin, Big Man Joe, he's on a fast lap of his own. Maybe not as quick as KDB ended up being and putting himself in the front row. Or maybe just might. He's up
he might.
almost
He
7/10.
is 7/10 there.
Yeah.
That's in contention for the pole as well, like you said.
Okay, 8th fastest on the board. Can he get this right across the final corner and across the line? Can he find himself in the top 3? Oh, he won't. It's
very close.
Yep. Second row start. I think Sector 1 is where he got caught off a bit, Big Man Joe. Otherwise, we might just have seen him on the front row as well. But yeah,
Indeed,
no matter. He starts on the second row, but it's pole position for the championship leader.
Indeed, and the only one to qualify in top 10 on the mediums, and everyone else unable to match him despite being on the softs. So race is gonna get a little spicy at the start. Envy, who's on the mediums, will have to fend off a bunch of hawks behind him on the soft tires. Let's see how the race pans out. For now, top 10, here you are. Streeter and RB Fellow, who are not in the top 10, they will be having free tire choice. So 12 drivers today, Satek. So not as many as you expected, but Japan always serves up to be an interesting race with the strategy, with the technicality that you have to bring to this circuit, especially in sector 1. Missing an apex would just mean that you're gonna run wide and someone's gonna catch up to you.
Yep, we've seen you in race 0. That last lap, it's still in my head on how you were able to take those lines just to ensure no one could get through on that final lap, even though you were, I believe you were struggling on the tires front.
Yeah, I remember
right after a safety car.
Just losing attention under the safety car and running into the wall coming out of the hairpin. And picked up a very mild damage, but fortunately the setup was pretty loose, so it kind of counted itself. And I had a hard time fending off Streeter there. And I believe Streeter here is definitely looking for some kind of a comeback race as well. So my eyes are on him to make it through the field as quick as possible. I predict he might be even the top 3 come the middle of the race, or before even his first stint ends, since he's on the mediums.
Alrighty, hopefully. Okay, I got the usual yeet from the lobby. Hopefully everything goes well in the lobby regardless. And I'll be stepping away to rectify something, Dalvin. Meanwhile, comms box is all yours.
Thank you, Satak, and we are still here. Lobby is about to start. Countdown has started. 3, 2, 1, and almost ready for the formation lap. Well, the actual countdown just started, and there we go. Formation lap is underway. And we will lead the formation lap once again. On the mediums, will require a little bit more of heating up to get the tires up to temperature, whereas the ones on softs behind him, they can just take it easy in this lap. They also want to preserve their tire wear for as long as they can to extend their soft stint. Predicted strategy says the medium's too hard. I wonder how many drivers are able to pull it off. If they're daring, if they're good on their tires, they can even stretch it to a medium soft, which is 100% possible over here in Suzuka. Then the alternate is going to be a soft to medium, soft to hards. One stop, definitely the way to go from the driver's feedback over here. But don't discount any safety cars just yet, because that might change things up. And 2 stop might just become the way to go if that thing happens. Let's see. As we're coming into sector 2 of the formation lap, and the drivers are not really weaving the tires too hard. You can see a little weaves there, a bit to the left, a bit to the right, just to get a little bit of temperature in. There you go. Some more predicted strategies are coming up. Soft to hards, medium to hards. The game is serving up a tons of strategies. I wonder if those drivers have selected those, or they're gonna go for their own strategy. That will be interesting to watch out. Who pulls out the right time, who fails the strategy game. And the likes of Streeter, RB Fellow, and Envy, who are on the mediums, they would want to hope that there's no safety car in the early stages, because that will just give an advantage to the soft runners to box onto the mediums and hards. So let's see, as 12 drivers are coming around 130R to warm up the tires. Envy now, as you can see, starts to get a little more aggressive on his weaving to get a little more temperature for the start of the race. Down into turn 1, it will be crucial for him. And I predict it's gonna be a little bit of a commotion into turn 1 as always. And ooh, speaking of that, Envy really goes aggressive with the weaving and almost spins out coming into the final chicane, but that's one way to heat up your tires, is by almost going into a spin.
All right, Davin.
And yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back. Everything seems to be all right. Hopefully.
Just in time. Just in time.
Hopefully
Formation
everything's
lap
okay.
is almost done.
Yes,
And
in time.
yeah, here you are.
27 laps. 27 laps of racing, 12 cars out on track. We'd love 20, but we'll have to settle for 12. It's Envy on pole position as the 5 lights are gonna come on our screens with KDB closely right alongside him as the lights go out and away we go. That's a stranded Red Bull in the middle of the track. No incidents, however, or possibly a spinning Mercedes who's lost his front wing and the front right and out of the race.
Yeah, Sicknick out of the race immediately. And Big Man Joe gets a jump start as well, so that's a drive through for him. VSC is out immediately due to the dangers present on track. Oh, unfortunate there for the Mercedes over there. We were just talking right before the race earlier today, and they were so pumped up for this race. That's not a way to start it, but that's definitely one of the worst ways to end it.
Yeah, even I mean, you gotta sympathize with Sicknick, who's probably one of, or if not the most excited driver out in BRL for the races, and same goes with Big Man Joe. He started P4, now he finds himself P11, I believe. He still has issues, gets disconnected, unfortunate. So virtual safety car now. We might just see another race start of sorts. You can see KDB breathing down Envy's gearbox.
Oh, that's a familiar sight, I must say. Having Streeter right on my back in RCCH was not fun, but I can imagine it's the exact situation that Envy's facing right now, because he's on the harder tires, and he will be vulnerable for these first few laps. And KDB on this VSC restart looks like he's not letting Envy go, and this might be his first opportunity to overtake and pull away right away. And VSC is ending, and there you go. Go, go, go. It's green light racing once again. The top 3 are bunched up. Let's ride on board with Envy and see if he can defend the threat from KDB.
Yep, moves being made, however, at the back of the pack, but all eyes on KDB as he closes in alongside the pit straight. But into turn 1, Envy's going to hold on to that race lead. KDB breathing down on his gearbox as he was on the previous lap. 3/10 now away from each other. Streeter now battling it out at the back of the pack, however, with Gambler.
That runs wide there. Streeter
and
runs
the battle
wide.
Continues at the back.
Yep. Streeter runs a little wide there, and down he goes again. Loses the position to Gambler. Andre there for one moment looked pretty close to KDB, but without DRS, there's pretty much not an opportunity to overtake around here, and there's only one DRS straight here. And
so, like, after the virtual safety car, KDB's gotten a rough start, and Andre seems poised of taking a position much quicker than KDB can take that race lead from Envy. You can see him lose a 10th corner after corner. And just like that, I'm out of the game again. So take it away, Dan.
Oh, it's alright, and we are seeing a battle brewing up here. RB Fellow immediately on the case, charging right behind Baby Shumi. And oh, what's happened there to KDB? What's happened to KDB? He has spun coming out of Spoon, and that's his car out of the race. KDB is out. He was looking poised for a good overtake on Envy, but unfortunately he is out, and that brings out a second virtual safety car in the race. I wonder if that opens up an opportunity for the soft riders to gamble it on the mediums or hards this early on. Will we see some drivers driving into the pits? And yes, Baby Shumi is in. He's taking the gamble. He say I might as well get it done, and he's into the pits. Cheap pit stop here under VSC. Go ahead, Sarthak.
To think within the first 3 laps, we've already got 2 retirements. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that's just how racing is, like Michael once said, we went motor racing and here we are. Baby Shumi, in all of that commotion, gets a cheap pit stop under VSC, so that will save him some time if he's about to go till the end, or give an undercut to the soft runners up ahead. So Baby Shumi now has clear air. He will be chasing after Streeter. We will be looking at the gaps to see if he's getting any closer, but in the meantime, Andre is immediately on the case of Envy, taking over from KDB's mission earlier. Now Andre is on the back of Envy within a second, trying to stay within the DRS range so he can make an overtake coming into the pit straight. RB Fellow immediately, and there we go. He wants to make this move early and he tucks right behind Gouts. And in Spoon, no way to make a move there. But let's see if RB Fellow decides to send it around 130R. And looks like RB Fellow, much like his hero Fernando Alonso, wants to go side by side into 130R, but takes the inside this time and makes the move. Take RB Fellow up into P5 he goes. Wow, what a move by RB Fellow. That's one for his clips. And I'm pretty sure he'll be sharing that at the end of the race. But no, what's happened to Envy? Side by side with Andre. Andre gets a run on him into turn 1 with DRS, makes the move stick, and into P1 he goes. Envy
goes
now
wide.
Goes wide, yeah. Envy now comes back around the outside.
Yeah, invites Envy right through, and he's back into the race lead. But Andre coming back for what he just lost. Now on the gearbox of Envy. And he's going to stay there. Unfortunate for Andre, he just shot too wide into turn 1 and he lost out on that race lead. Now he's going to keep falling because it's Envy and he's pulling away.
Yeah, but you know, that was a close battle there. Andre, I think second time around he will be not making the same mistake. He knows where he can make the move and how he can make it stick. Only half a second here and Andre will be sticking in the DRS for a much longer time. That has invited UK and Mr. Vex back into the party. RB Fellow 3 seconds away but not too far off.
Yeah, if they can keep it within a second of Andre, we can expect great things going in lap number 5 and 6. But right now, it's still Andre and Envy. Probably not a race of their own, but definitely a second off, as you can see on the board.
Ooh,
and Envy
RB Fellow there runs wide at Spoon, and that gives the P5 back to Gouts. And we might just see another overtake coming in from RB Fellow on Gouts just a lap later. But no, I think RB Fellow might have decided to hold back for just a second. Or he might send it into the chicane here. Is he gonna send it? Oh no, RB Fellow thinks better of it. And pit straight it is. It might be a simpler move. UK in the meantime.
Speaking of pit straight, it's Andre on Envy down the inside and up into the race lead.
Carbon copy move this time, and Andre slows the car just enough to not run wide and sticks it in P1. RB Fellow also has made his move back into P5. Ahead he goes of Gouts.
Yeah, and Envy lost a bit of traction in sector 1 through the S's as well, so he's down 5 tenths now to the likes of Andre. He's on the medium, so he probably might just be out there to be picked off by UK, but almost a 1.5 second gap, and seems to be closing in on Andre for the race lead again, Envy.
Yeah, if this front two, I'm guessing they're gonna keep battling, and that's gonna probably invite the rest of them into the party as well. And Envy trying his best to stay within Andre's DRS range, is only within 3 tenths now, and Andre might be feeling the pressure already. He's not able to pull away from the 1 second gap.
Yeah, now down to 3 tenths, 2 tenths almost. And yeah, 130R seems like the perfect place to make the move if he can. Envy. We've seen RB Fellow do it firsthand in this 0R, but now in the Bwoah Racing League, Envy is going to hold back. He's going to wait for that pit straight just like Andre did. And we could possibly see a move.
Yeah, looks like this is a move coming in from Envy once again for the lead, and UK now crucially is also within DRS range of this front two. And I thought so, but no, he's not within DRS, and Envy once again goes for the move. This time makes the same move that Andre did on him, takes back the lead of the race.
Yeah, that was real close, a little bit too close perhaps between Andre and Envy. Andre almost lost it and went into the back of Envy when Envy slowed down a bit into the corner. But yeah, now as you can see, half a second up already.
What's happened there to Mr. Vex? He is out of the race. He's right on board with his teammate NC. There you go. He has lost it, presumably at the SS, and that has brought out a yellow flag, but no safety car. Gameblow is into the pits just at the right time earlier. He's not gonna benefit from this.
Yes, is.
I tell you what though, it looks like the whole track is yellow for now, and well, the game's just showing yellow everywhere. It's yellow and greens. For one moment, I thought it might be some safety car coming out on the track, but no, it's still okay there.
Yep. But yeah, we are green for racing. and you can see the gaps have extended over a second now, all around.
Yeah,
Andre's gap to
mediums are-
Envy, UK's gap to Andre. Yeah.
Mediums are just coming into their own now, so Andre, unable to pull away and make the move early on, has to suffer the consequences now, and we will just pull away into the distance. I'm looking at this, and but given that the softs are now coming to their end of the life cycle, the mediums will be becoming very, very strong, you know, in a moment here. So RB Fairlow, Streeter, they are lining up for some moves, and Baby Shumi as well is catching up to Big Man Joe. They're not too far off from making an overtake.
6 laps on the softs. We're on lap number 7 as we stand. We've already lost 3 drivers, and you can see Mr. Vex leaving this session. So yeah, unfortunate, but it's Vex, KDP and Sicknick out of this race. 9 drivers left, 20 laps left. It's all to play for. Envy leads this race and the championship as we speak. His title rival is down in P4.
Yep, and looks like it's gonna be a similar strategy for both of them. So it's gonna have to be settled on track if you wanna reclaim some of the points in the championship. And as it is right now, Envy is definitely in the box seat, controlling the pace up in front. I wouldn't say controlling the pace. I think he's just unleashing all the pace that he has to cover off any sort of a undercut or overcut, and creating some VSC safety car gaps to the cars behind him.
The fact that Gambler's, probably this is the best time to talk about it, because Gambler coming in and finishing every race he starts for his team as a reserve driver has paid off in the constructors fight. They're almost 100 points in the lead ahead of the in-game Mercedes team, Baby Shumi and Sicknick. So yeah, they might as well call it a day and say they've won. But yeah, KDB is in the mix now, mind you, for the title fight as well. So him retiring from the race, not the best of outcomes for him.
Indeed, that's not gonna be helping him, and well, if you know, I mean, for us, for the viewers as well, it's just, it adds on to the excitement coming into the next races, where championship is probably going to be decided by who is going to be more consistent, but not necessarily the fastest on track.
Yeah. Yeah, lap number 8, nothing much has changed out on track. Pretty big gap between Big Man Joe and Streeter, over 14 seconds. He'd be looking to close in on that. Gambler's doing his own effort, putting his own effort to close that gap between him and Baby Shumi. He seems to have closed a seconds gap in the lap so far.
Yeah,
almost a second.
Yeah, I'm just monitoring the gap, and I'm surprised that RB Fellow is not really closing in that much on the top 3 just yet. I mean, on 100 UK at least. So maybe he's not up to pace just yet, or he's just saving his tires for the long run. And yeah, but someone who's making moves. It looks like Streeter, who is slowly but surely catching up to Gouts for that P5 right now. Similar age tires for everyone almost here, except for the likes of Baby Shumi, who has pitted under the second VSC, took a free pit stop onto the mediums. Gambler, who just boxed 2 laps ago, on as fresh as you could get on the mediums.
Alright, and it is race number 18, by the way, just so we have good knowledge of it. So yeah, after this it'll be 6 races left for the end of the season. So perhaps next race onwards we can get a bit mathematical with the points, and maybe Envy will be closer than ever
the good
to
old
win the championship.
Reddit style, bring out the permutations and calculator and all the predictions. We're just waiting for that as well.
Yeah, precisely. Hopefully we see 20 cars in the next 6 races, so hopefully we can ensure of it. But right now on lap number 9, it's only 9 cars out on track, with pretty big gaps building up even between the race leader and the man running P2, Andre. But yeah, the closest we are going to get to any kind of change out on track is got to be the 4 drivers on softs who will be pitting.
Oh, but there you go. Looks like it. Gouts has lost it coming out of the hairpin, and which means now Streeter has got to move on it. But no, Streeter has disconnected from the session right when he made a move on Gouts. So what was looking like a interesting comeback race for Streeter now has just turned upside down, and Gouts is given a second lease of life on that old soft tires to probably steal back this P5. Wow, how things just change in a moment. And surprisingly, the gap up front, Envy is not really pulling away from Andre. Andre is keeping tabs with Envy. The gap is just hovering under 2 seconds, and I'm wondering if Envy is not really pushing it just yet, or Andre is just that much fast on the softs. It's getting a bit confusing now, you know, which is the race tire to be on, and different drivers making different tires work. It's really going to come down to strategy, and at the end of the race, if these two will converge once again on differing tires.
Yep. Oh, lap number 10, we're still waiting. I believe after 10 laps, when do you think the soft runners are going to pit, Davin?
Right around now would be the best time,
yeah.
I'd say. You can take the mediums from here on till the end. So Andre, if he wants to get a significant undercut on Envy, now would be the time. And he's also losing quite a bit of pace. He lost half a second in the first 2 sectors alone in this lap. So this might be the call for him to dive into the pits and get a fresh set of boots and take it till the end from here. But he'll have to contest Envy at the end.
Alright, which means we might just be in for quite the battle at the very end, considering Andre's on the softs and might just pit for mediums, and even same goes with Envy, who might just pit for softs himself. So yeah, the last couple of laps will be banger, but for now we're stuck with what it is. 10 laps on the starts for 4 of the drivers out on track.
There you go. Andre has boxed now, and UK follows him in as well. So these two are the first to call it quits on the softs. Will take the mediums till the end. So Envy now keeps his lead for now, just minding his own business up in front. Will be interesting to see the gap to the leader this time around. What is the gap going to be to Envy, and how fast, how much these two guys, UK and Andre, can pull off. UK surprisingly goes for the hard tires. Not a tire of choice, I'd say, but a pretty good tire if you really want to push hard, if you have some pace till the end. And there you go, Streeter has fortunately finally rejoined the session. Andre now comes out 24.3 seconds behind Envy. So that is the gap to monitor. Let's see come the time where Envy pits, how much is the gap. And that will be interesting at the end of it, because I'm pretty sure Andre is going to get an undercut right now. Envy's going to be coming back on the softs at the end.
Okay. I'm trying to get back into the lobby, and hopefully we enter with a bit of action out on track. 9 drivers still out on track, and okay, penalty. The first driver to get a penalty we might have missed out on. Gambler picks up a 3 second or a 2.
Oh no, Gameplay has a 5 second, I believe. Yeah, as you brought it up, that was actually for speeding into the pit lane much earlier, I remember. So, well, he might have made his pit stop quite early on, but that just meant that he had to take a 5 second as well with him till the end for speeding into the pit. So that's gonna hurt him. If there's a safety car later on, he'll definitely have to serve that extra 5 if he wants to get some fresh boots. But in the meantime, I think you're right in time for some little battles that are about to brew. Gouts, who was being caught up by Streeter, who has rejoined. Gouts has finally pulled into the pits and goes for a fresh set of mediums that will take him till the end. Big Man Joe out on track, still extending the life of these soft tires. They would be okay right now, you know, in terms of temperature. They would have calmed down with lighter fuel load, but pace wise, the mediums are definitely the tires you want to be on. Andre now on the fresh mediums is catching up to Streeter already within 1 second, and there you go, Sartek, you want to move, here's a move coming. We might even see a move coming into the hairpin or much earlier.
Yeah, look at him close that gap. He's like corner after corner, 10th after 10th. Now he's 4 tenths off of Streeter. So even before we even come close to 130 hour, we can expect Andre up in a P3. Right now he's now about 4 tenths off as he was at the entrance to Sector 2. Yeah, soon enough we'll see a move. But I was on board Big Man Joe, and I was seeing if he could go through the S's rather comfortably, and he could. So even regardless of it being 11 lap old softs, he's doing pretty well. But back to this battle, Streeter and Andre. Streeter trying his best to deny Slipstream. But back to you, Adalvin, because I just got kicked
Andre,
out.
I think he's getting a little impatient here, almost pushing Streeter around 130R, and maybe might just want to make the move into the chicane, but no, he decides to hang it back and make the move on the pit straight. And yeah, on the pit straight will be the move coming in by Andre. On the easy move with DRS. Just pump the battery a little more, and there you go. Makes the move even before the straight ends. And into P3 he goes. And what's the gap to the leaders this time around? It's 23 seconds. 23.7, so about a second gain on Envy. Envy just has to extend his stint for another 4 or 5 laps, and it will be right behind Andre after the pits. UK though on the harder tires is not finding any pace. He has lost 3 seconds to Andre in these first 2 laps alone, so surely the hard tires are not the way to go right now. Gauss has boxed as well. Big Man Joe finally making his pit stop and crucially coming out ahead of Gambler, who was on 6-lap-old medium tires. My bad, I'm just thinking of some birthdays coming up, but there you go. And yeah, Big Man Joe now has a big task to fight back. He will be having the freshest medium tires among the soft runners. And let's see if he has some pace left in the tank to chase after the rest of the pack. Andre now has his eyes locked down on a clear track, but wow, Envy responds immediately with a 1:31.7 fastest lap, proving that he still has pace on these aging medium tires. Andre, he is closing, he is getting faster, he's closing down the gap, and he might be in for the fastest lap just for now. See, coming across the final corner, what does this look like? It's definitely a 1:31.3, only 4 tenths quicker than Envy's lap time. So that's pretty ominous signs. Envy is looking like a monster here today, and Andre has a big uphill task to fight for.
Yeah, and to your question, Big Man Joe having the pace that he needs to make up positions in the next couple of laps. I'm sure he can. But then again, he's got a pretty big gap to close in on. Same goes with UK. I'm actually particularly curious to see how UK will come up the ranks as well. He's on 2-lap-old hards. He's closing in on a possible move on Streeter, who I believe had reconnected, but still it's his AI out on track, so that should be easy for UK. And yeah, as I say that, I think he's on the tail of Streeter's AI. It goes through him, of course, goes to car, and just like that, up into P4. RB, Ferrello, and Envy. Perhaps a safety car is what they need right now.
Oh,
or
that
not.
would just ruin the party for everyone else behind them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't and in contention for P2 come the end of the race. It gets a VSC, but no, he decides
RB.
to jump in early. Wow, that's a pretty bold undercut.
After
thing
14.
coming in. 14 laps on the
Softs.
mediums and
After
takes the
14
softs.
laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has done his math right, so these tires can go till the end from here.
Well,
how long will he be able to
but-
hold
but-
on?
Okay, I think he can. Considering Big Man Joe did run 12 laps on the softs, is he looking at that and saying, okay, if Big Man Joe can do that, I'm going to try and do it as well. But do you really want to be in a position of vulnerability come lap number 27?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question that he will have, but it's a risk he has to take right now. With the softer tires, he can make up a lot of position and time. You know, with the likes of you know, UK vulnerable out there on the hards, Streeter yet to pit, and Andre, who's probably locked in a fight with Envy. RB Fellow is looking like for a solid P3 right now.
Okay, but then that is just hypothetical. On lap number 15, Envy leads this race. RB Ferrello out on track on fresh softs. I wonder what's running through the mind of Envy, because he's got multiple things to think about. He's now on 15-lap-old mediums. He's got Andre, 23-second gap, yes, but he's on 3-lap mediums. And he's got Robbie Ferrello a bit back, a bit behind. Definitely a safety car will be as good as stars getting aligned for him.
Yeah, I tell you what though, Sartan,
yeah.
looking at the gaps, Andre is not really catching up to Envy despite being on fresher tires. The gap is only coming down about 2 tenths, 3 tenths at most a lap, and Envy out there making the medium tires work so well. It's just maintaining his gap, and once he's done his pit stop, he's coming out right behind Andre.
Okay. Yep. 22 seconds though. Now it's closing in a
Yep,
bit.
now
Quite a
the
bit.
soft now the old mediums are definitely starting to suffer a little bit, but with the soft tire advantage that Envy will have at the end, that's gonna be cut down within a lap or two.
Yeah. And Yeah, you got support for UK in the chat as well, who's currently running P3, poised for a possible podium if he can take it to the end by not getting past. But with Abi Ferrello on press offs,
Oh, that's a yellow in
it's only a
sector one.
oh,
And that's Big Man Joe.
who could be?
In
Oh no!
sector one. Oh no. What's happened to our good old Danny? It looks like he might have spun coming out of turn one. And yeah, clipped the curb probably.
2-lap old mediums, and yet he's gone into a spin. Gambler is ahead. We've seen the two battle it out for position multiple times before, and we might just see in the next couple of laps. We've got 10 laps left of this race. Envy still leads this race ahead of Andre and UK. Streeter in the mix. Abi Ferrello in to wrap up the top 5. Baby Shumi, Gouts, Gambler, Big Man Joe, like I mentioned. 9 drivers out on track. 10 laps left.
Still staying out. So I feel he knows what's happening. He has the win in the bag, but he just has to play this very, very safely. He might as well wait for a safety car, or just time it right to go on the softs and attack Andre once he's out. And looks like that is his game plan for now. UK doing just well on the hard tires. They will phase in better as the race progresses towards the end. He will be much better. Question is how much can he hold on for now, because RB Fellow has just made a move on Streeter, and up into P4 he goes, cuts the gap down to 8 seconds to UK, and it's chasing down to 7 seconds now.
Yeah, and that's quickly gonna drop down to 6 when he exits sector 1. As he heads into sector 2, I'm sure he will. Yeah, Envy still out on track, and mind you, Andre's gap hasn't changed. Like you mentioned earlier on, it at best closed in on a second in the past 2 laps. Yeah, not much of a change there.
Yep.
Envy's gonna
Purple sector 1
stay
for
out.
RB Fellow on the
Streeter's AI,
softs.
surprisingly enough, doing the same.
Envy now finally comes into the pits, and there we go. He will say goodbye to the medium tires and will take the softs from here on. And this is a battle to be seen. And Andre, who is coming around the final chicane. What is this gonna be? Oh, Gambler has retired. Gambler has lost it, and that's a full safety car. Full-blown safety car.
The timing.
You can't
The
break
timing
this,
of
man.
this.
My goodness! Wow.
No,
Wow.
Andre just headed into the pits. Envy comes out back into the race lead, but at what cost? UK heads into the pits as well. This
Everybody's in for the
is an
soft
opportunity
tires.
and a debacle for the rest. Oh my god, you can't make this up.
Wow.
Abi Ferrello too.
Wow. What was looking like a battle for Envy to reclaim the lead and win it by a country mile has just turned the tables around and gave an opportunity to Andre and UK RB Fellow as well, who is in again for another pit. Yeah, he doesn't want to be on 2 laps old softs there. He just wants fresher tires. So RB Fellow, Streeter, everybody's in. Yeah, you're right, Sartak. Everyone's in for fresh softs here. 8 drivers left, 8 soft runners. This is interesting till the end.
Big Man Joe follows suit as well. He's in, but mind you, not 8 soft runners just yet. Dalvin, turns out Streeter has come out on fresh mediums.
Oh, what has the AI done for him? Oh boy, it's just getting from bad to worse for him today. Well, it's likely he's not gonna score in the top range of points today. So RB Fellow, he might be even looking at a easy podium over here, or even a top 2 if something were to happen to the front 2. Wow.
I wouldn't say easy, Davin. I wouldn't say easy. Mind you, this has turned it. The safety car has turned this race. The last 7 laps we might get racing, if my calculations pan out to be right. 7 laps, a sprint race of sorts, with all drivers on the same aged soft tires, except Streeter, of course, will be on the mediums, probably slow at the start and perhaps a couple positions at the last lap or so, if he's lucky enough. But yeah, we got ourselves a race now.
Yeah, Streeter still disconnected from the session, so which means he will be passed by everyone on the restart. He will not be a hindrance to the likes of RB Fellow, Baby Shumi Girls, and Big Man Joe. Up front, the top 3, they are looking poised for a bet and a half. And I'm interested to see how much Andre will attack Envy at the restart, and how hard these two are gonna battle it out throughout the last 6 or 7 laps that we have for racing after the safety cars in.
But yeah, the timing on Gambler retiring. Wonder what happened there. We missed that completely.
Yeah,
Did he spin out?
he
Did
definitely
he lose traction?
spun
Like,
at coming into the darkness, looks like it, or coming out of the hairpin. That's where the yellow was initially waved. So probably lost some traction, lost some momentum there, and into the wall he went. That's usually how you DNF in around that area. But wow, like you said, timing was just impeccable there.
yeah.
Right as Envy boxed for the softs, and he was looking to come out maybe a second or two behind Andre, who was on the mediums. It was going to look like a battle, easy battle for the winner in the lead for Envy. And now he's just turned around. Equal opportunity now for everyone on the soft tires. That will mean we have a feisty restart. UK somehow gets a 5-second penalty due to some safety car issues, I presume.
Yep.
Ignoring
it off the
hopefully there's no more safety cars after this, so he will not have to worry about that 5-second. And yeah, look at that. Streeters AI is just bouncing around with UK, and UK's as well, just having fun with the AI. Yeah, it's funny to see, isn't it? All the glitches and bugs in this game. Sometimes they're just too funny, sometimes they're just a little frustrating for gameplay. Safety car.
And safety cars
in this lap, just in time.
Yeah.
And that means we will have 8 laps of racing. Am I right? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Yes, quick math there. And we have 8 laps of racing. That will just be enough for the soft tires to make it till the end. Question is, who can keep the life in the tires, who can keep it clean? And we will lead the safety car restart once again in Bwoah Racing League. And this time he gets going, and it's go for him. And off he goes, and Andre right behind him immediately, not gonna waste any time.
Yeah, and in the back of the pack though, moves being made. Big Man Joe closing on the likes of Gouts, and I've lost out. Back to you, Dalvin.
Yeah, Gouts now down to P8. P7 goes to Big Man Joe. Immediately he's looking like he wants to get back some positions. Up ahead, Andre sticking pretty close to Envy through the first sector. I wonder who has warmed up the tires just nicely. But yeah, Dirty Air coming to play. Andre losing a bit of time in the Dirty Air UK as well. Everyone is losing a bit of time. Into sector 2, don't expect much. But as the race is progressing, RB Fellow makes a lines up a move on Streeters AI there. Up into P4 he goes. And P3 is right up there for him.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like Andy is really pushing here.
Not much traction yet.
Not much, but then yeah, Baby Shoe is just making a move on an AI, so nothing much to see there. But Envy is really pulling out his legs now, stretching his legs in sector 2. He's pulling out the gap over a second to Andre now, out of DRS range already. Andre, he can push a little more to stay within the DRS. That will crucially keep him in the fight as well. And coming to the end of the first lap, Envy has pulled out almost a second gap, and Andre has pulled out a further 1.5 second gap to UK. Right behind though, Big Man Joe now on the gearbox of Baby Shumi. So Baby Shumi, he will be looking right behind his mirrors and seeing a Red Bull charging down the pit straight. Home race, of course, for the Red Bull's engine manufacturers Honda. So Big Man Joe looking like he wants to do the team give them some good proud moments here. Let's hope he gets there by the end of this race. Andre in the meantime looks pretty rapid in sector 1, I must say. Able to keep up with Envy through the high speed section, but losing out on sector 2 and 3. Oh, Gouts there makes a move on the street. Let's move on the AI, so let's not look at that. RB Federer now within a second of UK, and this might just be a legit contention for podium here. RB Federer on UK, on merit, on pace. Looks like it's gonna be a fight for P3, and a fight for P1 is also brewing up between Envy and Andre up in front. So battles all over the place, and a battle is brewing up for P5 and 6 as well. Big Man Joe now is within a second of Baby Shumi. DRS will be activated after the leaders have crossed the finish line, so that means on lap 23 we will be potentially having an overtake on the straights with the assistance of DRS, and till the end we may just have positions, big swap left, right and center. And we now less than a second of a gap. Streeter my bad, Andre has used up a little bit more of his battery to stay within that crucial 1 period second and finally gets the DRS, but work is not done. He still has to stay within a second throughout the whole lap so that he can make a move on the next lap.
Yep, keeps himself 3/10 with an NV. We've got 5 laps left and much more action to come, hopefully. Streeter completely off though. 2-second gap to Gouts, and on the mediums, 3 lap over mediums, mind you. So 5 laps left, and Andre trying to keep the gap within half a second as much as he can. And same goes with Big Man Joe between him and Shumi, and RB Ferrello and UK as well.
Yeah, we thought it was gonna be a boring race with only 12 drivers. We have 8 remaining and everyone's just fighting for a position here. So we'll have our hands full for a few moments here because overtakes are gonna come in fast and quick. Andre sticking within a second of NB. Battery levels about the same. UK in P3. RB Ferrello pushing hard to stay within the DRS range. He's using up a lot of his battery to do so. Baby Shumi now has to contend with a fast Red Bull right behind him. Big Man Joe having the battery advantage, possibly that might help him to get the position. And here we go, coming down into 130R. NV still leads the race. Only half a second though the gap to Andre, and Andre looks ever so close into the braking zone. This is a lead change coming right in front of your eyes, folks. Let's see right on board with let's see with Andre, can he make a move this time around? Is he gonna wait? Is he gonna charge his battery? Looks like he might want to be charging his battery this time around. And yes, Andre is not making the move just yet. Andre plays a smart move, but no, right behind though, UK and RB Ferrello go side by side, a little bit of ping pong going on there into turn 1. UK still holds on to P3. Big Man Joe unable to make the move on Baby Shumi, sticks in P6, but the gap getting very tight now, very close, sticking right behind his gearbox in sector 1.
Yeah, that was brave of RB Ferrello. He didn't try to take the inside line, and he went around the outside, sent the car a bit on the grass as well, but couldn't get the move done. Had to concede position and just hold on to P4 instead. Couldn't get the position he'd want.
Big Man Joe.
Big Man Joe.
Yep.
On Baby Shumi. Down the inside, he sends it.
Yep.
He sends it, and up into P5 he goes, but Baby Shumi coming back for that position, and he's gotten it back as well.
Yes,
Big Man Joe
side
is
by
Baby
side
Shumi,
they are.
wheel to wheel racing. Yeah.
Oh, what's happening there? It's a bit of rubber banding going on, and out of that, Big Man Joe still comes out ahead. Finally, he makes the move on Baby Shumi. Up into P5 he goes, but the question is, can he pull out of a second, or can he pull closer to the front 4? Looks like the front 4 is where the bell is gonna go on. Andre, once again, is just biding his time behind NV, once again to just recharge his battery to make a move later on in the race. RB Ferrello on UK. Is this another move coming in? RB Ferrello is out of battery. UK up in front, just minds his business, just keeping the gap big enough to not allow RB Ferrello to make a move. And yes, they will remain as they are. Baby Shumi tries to come back at Big Man Joe into turn 1, but no, he's too far away. There's another lap of catching up to do. Gouts, meanwhile, having a solid, quiet race, minding his own business over there. In P7 is back into the train of Big Man Joe and Baby Shumi. So maybe we might just see a little tussle between Baby Shumi and Gouts in the closing stages. Streeter unfortunately still not with us, so it's just his AI running around. Up in front is where the juicy battles are. Envy still managing his battery, managing his pace, most likely to fend off Andre in the closing stages. These two know what's going up. Andre knows what's Envy up to, and they're just playing their mind games, playing their best what they can on track. UK in P3 crucially has pulled out away of RB Ferrello's DRS zone, but RB Ferrello is pushing pretty hard with his battery, depleting it under 10%, losing some power down the straight unfortunately due to that, and will not be in DRS of UK. So UK looks like he's poised for a P3 right now. If he just keeps it clean till the end, RB Ferrello has an uphill battle to fight.
Yeah, and if the opportunity arises, he might just get a P2 as well, regardless of that time penalty. Because Andre, he doesn't look like he's got all the battery power he needs. Envy's on an advantage on that front as well. He is now, however, within 2/10 of Envy on lap number 25, 2 laps left. But Envy can deploy that battery power and pull up a gap quite easily, I must say. And yeah, the battle continues. Still close between some of these drivers within half a second.
Yeah, I'd say Andre could be a little more wise with his battery deployment, because I see he's deploying a little too much here and there necessarily. But what I saw was Envy sliding at turn 1 earlier. You know, presumably a little bit of pressure getting to him, a bit of tire temps coming in, because these tires, although they're quick, they do overheat very, very fast in Suzuka. So yeah, possibly some tire issues may come into play in the last 2-3 laps. If drivers can't keep their wits right on the track, they might just lose the battle. Envy now still can't shake off Andre, but crucially Andre is also running out of options. Battery down to 10%, and that just means he is low on power. This might be his only opportunity to make a move on Envy. So maybe let's ride on board with Envy. On his rear cam you can see Andre very, very close to him. This time around I think Andre is gonna stick the move. Coming into turn 1, will Andre go down the inside? Is he gonna make a move? Is he gonna go around the outside? No! Andre still sticks behind for another lap.
So close.
Wow, that was close.
And mind you, Envy deployed a bit of battery power at the beginning of the pit straight, and then he stopped. So he still has a bit to use left. Baby Shumi now on Big Man Joe within 2/10 of him, and here it's even Steven, you could say, as both of them are down on battery power. Baby Shumi a bit of an advantage, but still on the last lap we might just see these two tussle it out.
Yeah, and like I said earlier on, if you can follow through Sector 1, Sector 2 and Sector 3, it's just easy to stick around in the slipstream and gain some time back. And these drivers are wise enough, are smart enough to realize that if you stick within the driver in front in Sector 1, I think they're gonna make a move easy. And so Andre still doing his job, stuck with Envy in Sector 1, losing a bit of pace right now. I think Envy might just be running slightly lower aero here because he is ever so slightly pulling away on the straights and able to defend much easy and recoup more ERS. So Andre definitely on the backseat right now. 1.5 left to go, coming into the final chicane. This is Andre's only opportunity to make a move on Envy, otherwise the move will not ever happen coming into the final lap. And yeah, Envy has managed to pull out just enough of a gap, just enough. 7/10 is just enough for him to keep the lead, and yeah, keep the lead he will. But Baby Shumi now, this time he's on Big Man Joe's case. Baby Shumi into turn 1. What will he do? He goes around the outside and makes the move, but he runs wide, and Big Man Joe comes back in, and side by side they are coming out of turn 1 into the SS. Who will yield? Who will go ahead? And it looks like Baby Shumi is up ahead. Yes, Baby Shumi goes through. Streeter unfortunately has been disqualified by a game glitch there, so that's not going well for his AI anymore. We are down to 7 runners for the end of the race. Andre now, last ditch effort for him to get the race lead. 3/10, 4/10 the gap to Envy. One last straight. Can he do it into Spoon? Still too far off. Envy has just enough to defend, and into Spoon he will still be ahead. Still gap is just enough for him to defend with the extra battery down the straight, and looks like this might be a win coming in for Envy, but what a tough one it is.
Pretty much. Yeah, he gave it everything though, Andre. Mind you, you can see that battery power all down to 1%, but Envy was the wiser out on track. Mind you, UK still holds on to that P3 position. Abi Ferrello couldn't come back. Andre gave it everything, but it's Envy across the final corner, and possibly for the 8th time in the Bwoah Racing League, he wins the race. He wins the Japanese GP of Bwoah Racing League Season 5. Andre just 5/10 off of him to wrap up that P2, and P3 for Abi Ferrello on track, but that might just go to the steward's room, and UK might just get reinstated as the final podium finisher.
Woo! What a race, and tooth and nail till the end after the safety car. Wow, we thought this is gonna be a boring one, but Suzuka as always never fails. What a lovely track, what a lovely race. And once again, you see a bunch of copies of F1 2021 being handed out by our race winner, Envy, who takes another win, a 7th win in Bwoah Racing League this season. He's on a charge. He's just stretching his legs now in the final part of the season.
So my apologies if I said 8th, but he's ever so closer to that 8th race win. So maybe, who knows, with 6 races left, he might just wrap up 10 race wins by the end of the season. But yeah, you can see that I think it'll be crucial in the title fight. Definitely that last podium position, who it goes to, whether it's going to be UK, but the stewards will, of course, analyze that. But yeah, Abi Ferrello, if he's gotten it, he's gotten a podium for himself, and that should, for so much more in the title fight, should put him P2 in the drivers' title fight as well. Andre racking up that solid points for McLaren. Gouts as well, having finished the race, great for them, and possibly they can come up the order in the constructors' fight. I believe they're down in 8th though, so not the greatest of outcomes.
Yeah, with unexpected DNFs today, and also some pretty good battles all over the field. I think the championship is shaking up a little bit, and into the last few races, I have to get back on track with the championship standings as well, because it's gonna be the deciding factor in the last few races. It might also bring out some extra motivation for some drivers to turn up the last bit of pace that they have into the final few races, to give it all they have and make sure they secure the position they want in the championship. But for now, that's it. It's over. Envy gets the win and the fastest lap. So, what a way to wrap up the race. I think he has done his bit today in the championship. And unfortunately, Gambler unable to complete the race. Might be the first time, Sadak, I think. He has broken his streak of finishing every race that he's participated in. So that's one to take into the records as well for him.
Yeah, pretty much, possibly. But he's done enough to ensure that his team is still leading the constructors fight, even though being a reserve. The super sub, as I like to call him. But yeah, we can leave it there. That's the end of race number 18 of the Bwoah Racing League Season 5. With 6 races left to the end of the title fight. Who knows, maybe it'll end prematurely as well. Looking at Envy's showing of yet another race win, arguably we might just be done with the title fight come Mexico, which is round number 22. But next up is Hungary, so we head to the Hungarian GP next weekend, and hopefully we're in for a treat there. Possibly not as much action perhaps, but who knows, just like today Unraveled, anything is possible in the Bwoah Racing League.
Indeed. And there you go, folks, that will be the wrap up for today. Thank you as always for joining us. To the folks who have stayed with us throughout the session, all the way through the session, thank you once again. We appreciate your support. Hit like, subscribe as well, and stay ding that bell. Yes, ding that bell so that you are notified whenever we go live. And from time to time we do have some interesting clips to show off. So thank you once again to stay with us till the end, and thank you to as well, Satak. See you next week in the Hungarian GP, and real life race is starting as well. We are in for a blockbuster of a season. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.